Hello everyone, and welcome once again to the Heir's Lair. I'm your host, Jonathan Taylor. In last week's video, I gave you a brief preview of the main villain of my work in progress, Heir to the Empire, the Path Not Taken, and for today's video I thought I would escalate the stakes of the story, even if just a little, by presenting you with his main henchmen, his Praetorian Guard, the main enforcers of his will, the Great Eight. As I've already alluded to in the previous sentence, they were meant to be a bodyguard unit within the imperial court, someone who would protect the emperor directly. However, over time, the emperor realized that he was better off employing them as a sort of secret police, having them interact with the lower level dignitaries he doesn't have the chance to interact with, and in general, in order to have them as representations of his reach and his power throughout the empire. They also carry a lot of soft power. Their orders supersede those of almost anyone, which in practice means everyone except the emperor. And given they were selected based solely on magic-based combat prowess from populations of millions, you can tell that very few people are even close to their level, let alone match them. This wasn't always the case with with this unit, or with its progenitor units. In fact. And in fact, I'm gonna go and explain that a little bit. The history of the Great Eight starts during the Interregnal War, shortly after the Emperor himself assumes the mandate of imperial rule. He realized he would need a security unit around him as the Emperor, and his initial arrangements for that security unit would be to have it be an all-volunteer company from amongst his core troops. The main duties of that company were obviously protection and combat, because he wanted to be a fighting emperor. He wanted to be seen leading the efforts of his conquest, because that helps with propaganda. As the area he controlled grew in size, and as he gained more associates and more volunteers, the unit charged with his protection went on to grow as well, to the point where there was an entire brigade charged entirely with his security. He realized this was not exactly sustainable, so he made the decision to split this unit. First of all, he handpicked a company of people from the brigade to serve as his personal protectors, and then the rest of the brigade was spread out over various garrisons that would protect certain locations of strategic significance within the empire. As the war progressed and more of the empire was officially brought back under the imperial banner, all of these units that started out from the same progenitor unit went on to grow in size, to the point where the platoon the emperor gathered around himself once again became a company. But he didn't really change anything about these units until after the war was over. The principal change to be mentioned is that the troops that were distributed across various garrisons were formally dissolved. However, unofficially, they were assimilated within the armed forces that the High Lords themselves controlled. Most of these troops were still on various protection or security duty assignments, but Some of their members did go on to have leadership or administrative tasks to handle as well. As for platoon, the platoon that became a company that was supposed to provide security for the emperor, that was split again. The bulk of that company went on to form the Imperial Estate Guard that would protect the lands and castle of the emperor himself, and a handpicked squad of 8 from that from that company would go on to be his personal bodyguards, the Great 8. Why 8? Well, one for every element of my settings magic system. The Emperor wanted to make a symbolic statement about his power and make sure that his protections had no blind spots. Given that each of the 8 had proven to be the most proficient within the Empire, with one specific dominant element. Aside from all of these various external changes, the units that spawned off from the progenitor unit went through various internal changes as well, because people retire, people die, or people simply get replaced when a better fit for the role is found. That happens everywhere where people get employed, and the Grade 8 is no exception. Especially given there are so few of them, and they very much principally have to be the best in their field. And given this is supposed to be a prestigious position, rewarded only to the best, the Grade 8 are also allowed to assign themselves certain titles. These titles don't really allow them to make any claims on land or factories or anything else the plebs would work on, so that they could live off it. But they are functionally more like nicknames or nom de guerre, something that would give them personally a little bit more mystique. To some extent, these titles also indicate what also indicates something about their specialty within their respective element. At the beginning of the story, the Grade 8 consists of, from oldest to youngest, Vera Pavlishev, the Lady of Poison, Manfred Zamza, the Lord of Shade, Vincenzo Poltino, the Lord of Fog, Eva Stakovic, the Lady of Moments, Rosalind Stoner, the Lady of Chaos, Vincenzo Ferrero, the Lord of Ash, Justine Pomfrey, the Lady of Whispers, and finally Claudio Cotello, the Lord of Edge. How well will these 8 fare against the main characters is something I will leave up to you to discover once the book gets released. Until then, I would like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and maybe even share the video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If there is anything you'd like to add to any part of what I said, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. Ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. My already published work, Heir to the Empire, The Next Generation, is available at most major book retailers under a master link in the description down below, right past all of my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to do so. Until next time, I'm Jonathan Taylor, and this has been the Heir's Lair.